Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for stopping by again. So we have some fresh No Man's Sky news happening today, and that news is being reported all over the internet, but the main source of this news comes from Critic. So Critic is a comparable website to Metacritic, a site that puts a lot of the video game reviews, movie reviews, things like that all in one place and averages them together for one base score for consumers to go off of. And Critic on their Twitter today posted some news saying that several publications, including some large ones, have reported to us that they won't be receiving No Man's Sky review copies prior to launch. And they really wanted to put some emphasis on the idea and the words prior to launch. So that doesn't mean that there isn't going to be review codes. That just means that review codes are probably not going to be hitting major publications like your IGNs and your GameSpots and your Easy Allies and things like that for actual journalistic reviews until after launch. And we don't really know a reason for that exactly. There could be any number of reasons. Day one patches, spoiler prevention, and I imagine these kinds of things are decided, or at least right as the game has gone gold. To get an idea, this all has marketing and PR and things like that involved, but don't exactly know a reason for that. But of course, when the news came out, the sky is falling everywhere, especially for detractors of the game that are trying to justify the red flags that they're waving. Now, games have done this before, and some of those have made that process look very bad. If you look at some of the Sonic games that have released recently, if you have seen some of the older broken, buggy games that were just like, yeah, we're not going to give you a review copy until people have given us their money. And then we'll let the reviews out and let people live in their buyer's remorse. So this is definitely proven why this is a tough pill to swallow for a lot of consumers. So I can understand why that's worrying. When I did a few videos back where I talked about going gold, the reviews, potential spoilers leading up, we and other YouTubers, Cobra and Syrian and some of the other folks had sort of kind of projected this, and it's kind of come to fruition. I was just hoping that maybe there would be reviews a lot sooner than within launch week, right? And hopefully this will be good because maybe this will give reviewers an actual time to really dive deep into the game. Of course, they're going to try to rush reviews out as quickly as possible so they can be the first ones to the gate and get the most clicks and get the most information out there. So I don't really trust that reviews are going to be done in a reasonable time fashion where they can get their paws into the game as deep as they can. This is not your typical AAA linear shooter multiplayer game. This is not what that is, where you can play the heck out of it for 20 hours and then write up what you think of it and give it a review score or whatever you do. I know there are sites that actually give reviews in progress where they give initial impressions and their thoughts on the games and the positives and the areas of opportunity, things like that. But hopefully they're going to take their time and do that. So Critic goes back on Twitter to say that there could be advanced copies. Just many of the sources have reported, the sources of reviewers that actually participate with Critic have said that, it could be happening, just none of them have reported that. I personally have reached out to Hello Games and Sony PR asking for a review copy in an effort to hopefully have my own review done on the game and on my channel before the review embargo hits. Here's some good news, because we've talked about the negative aspect of games taking advantage of review embargoes on the actual day of release, and they've proven why that's not a good thing. However, if you look at something like Doom just released a few months ago, came out to positive reviews. It has a Metacritic of 85%, and that's awesome. Games like Destiny didn't really have reviews until the week of the game coming out, and Bungie had stated that because the servers wouldn't be populated, that was the reason for delaying it. Not sure I agree with that. A lot of other people didn't. It was controversial, but folks, this doesn't mean the sky is falling. If you want opinions on what the game is going to be and if it's going to go, what you have is people streaming it right now. It almost seems like Sony Ninjas and Hello Games have really stopped policing that, and they're just going, you know what, we're done chasing you down and trying to copyright strike people and take down videos. Just have at it and just don't spoil yourself if you really want to actually take the game and your experience seriously, which I recommend. But I've seen some streams so far and it looks fantastic, and to me it is everything that they said it was going to be. It's engaging, it's beautiful, the planets are freaking huge. A lot of the technical issues that I was worried about, at least while on foot, like pop-in and things like that, completely, I don't want to say non-existent, but very, very, very reduced. So folks, this doesn't mean bad things. It doesn't mean great things. Let's just see and wait for it to pan out. You know, worst case scenario, there's selling the game used or renting it or whatever you think makes you feel better about the review score not happening in the first week. You don't have to buy it on day one. If you're apprehensive about the game not being that great, just take some time and see what fellow gamers are saying about the game. They're going to be able to tell and maybe give you a better opinion about the game than reviewers ever could. So I personally would rather go by consensus, by what other people on NeoGAF and Reddit and my fellow YouTubers are saying about the game, or any game rather, friends that I know that are playing it and seeing what they say. I bought Rainbow Six Siege knowing that I'm a huge Ubisoft detractor. I bought Rainbow Six Siege because peer pressure. My friends on PlayStation Network bought that game and they begged me to buy it. I participated in the beta and it was fantastic. And I've been playing the living hell out of it lately. So it's a fantastic game. I recommend that one too. But otherwise, folks, this doesn't really mean anything. Folks that are waving red flags are the ones that were waving red flags to begin with. It's not cause for concern to me because I've seen the game in action. It certainly may require a day one patch. I'm glad they're working on that. Because I've seen some errors and things pop up, or some glitches, or maybe some broken mechanics that might need some attention. But ladies and gentlemen, this game looks great. So I wouldn't really worry about that aspect. So thanks for stopping by. See you next time.